Stagg 25C. As you can tell from this bottle, this thing's taken some damage. It's been to a whiskey share or two and has been well shared. This bottle was actually gifted to me by Colby, who is kind of the main person behind the Kitsap and Tap Barrel Club, which is local. It used to be like Kitsap Whiskey Society, but kind of paired up. They do a bunch of awesome picks. We were at a share together watching some football, so you can tell how long this has been. And he just told me, hey, should you take the rest of this thing home? And I was like, sweet. And then I probably left it at my friend Steven's house. And then I got sick. So, a little overdue. This is the third of the 4 batches for 2025. It comes in at 125.6 proof. So reasonable proof like we would expect out of any given stag. But the real question is, how good is it compared to the A and B batches? And will this be the one that is worth hunting? Let's find out in Two and a Tuesday. Start with color. Pretty standard, good bourbon color to it. We would expect no less out of a stag. So you can see here, but there's some pretty good legs coming through. Looks pretty oily. Great viscosity. Let's get into the nose. The nose is a bit more what I would expect out of a kind of bare bones essential stag. Good amount of cherry in it, a lot of brown sugar, just a touch of vanilla, a little bit of that kind of caramel, and definitely some wood influence. But the big predominant notes are that brown sugar and cherry. So a little bit of fruit, a little bit of sweet, definitely has a little oomph to it, but it's not singeing the old nose hair. So kind of what we'd expect out of a stag. It's saying hello, it's giving you a punch, so let's see how it is on the palate. Like a lot of stags, this is definitely punching you up front with 2 major notes. Number 1, and this is like 75% of the palate, there is a very strong, dominating medicinal cherry note. It's not like Robitussin medicinal, but it's not that bright kind of fruity. It's that more dark, semi-artificial cherry that you would get out of like a cough syrup. Don't get me wrong here. It doesn't have like a horrible aftertaste or anything, but it's just in your face. It's very, very predominant. And then underneath that is where a little bit of like that brown sugar starts to come in. So the nose definitely translates to the palate. Lots and lots and lots of cherry, way more cherry than even on the nose. And then we get in some brown sugar. As you get to the mid and the finish, that cherry medicinalness really kicks in. It's a little more sweet up front. It gets a bit more medicinal toward the finish. But there's also a little touch of caramel, a little bit of that wood, right? That kind of spice, that barrel chart's coming in. The wood influences that are there are saying hello. But realistically, this is kind of what I would expect out of most modern stag batches. You got 2 or 3 really big notes that are in your face, a little bit of extra on the finish. It lingers pretty well, but it really is kind of coming in and manhandling you, punching you in the face and letting you know, I'm a stag and you're going to taste these couple of things, whether you want to or not. So let's get into an overall score for the Stagg 25C. I'm going to rate this a 69. I like a lot of stags, but I'm not a big fan of heavy medicinal cherry. So for me, this is going to bring it down a bit. It's kind of low for stags. Most stags for me are in the high 70s, or at least the mid 70s. Medicinal cherry is really not my thing. I'm going to say that this is with a lot of bias. If you like medicinal cherry, maybe you're like Larceny BP kind of fan, this is the stag for you because it has a ton of it. And the good news is it doesn't get overly medicinal to where it's just almost off tasting, if you know what I mean, where it just tastes like cough syrup, but it has that artificial medicinal thing going on with the cherry note. So it's not that bright, sweet, fruity cherry, right? It's not that pie filling kind of cherry. So that's where it kind of differs. Some of the ones that have that more sweeter, like natural fruit or pie filling style, I love those notes. The medicinal just hits me in a certain way where it's not my jam. But the nice part is there's a good amount of brown sugar, a little bit of caramel, some vanilla, and definitely some oak influence. And this thing lingers really, really well. And despite the fact that it is a stag and it punches you right in the face, it's not overbearing. Sometimes some stags are absolute monsters as far as how much ethanol they carry with them. Now granted, this has been open for a while. You can tell it has been well drunk on, it's slightly under half at this point. So it's had some time to open up and air out. Compared to a lot of things that I'm drinking, which are pretty fresh pops, you might take that with a certain grain of salt. You might need to kind of let a 25C open up, get a little air, and breathe before you start drinking into it, depending on how that first sip on the neck pour is for you. Would I chase this one? Personally, no. Because again, I'm not big on that medicinal cherry, but if you like that medicinal cherry, or you want you don't care what kind of cherry it is, if it's cherry forward, you're into it, then that is where this becomes really worth the chase, especially if you find it at MSRP. Second MSRP is always wonderful. It's a great pour. It's one of those things you can share with some of your friends and kind of have like a nicer upgraded whiskey compared to some of your more regular like shelfer kind of stuff, right? Would I pay secondary value on this? Which, depending on where you are, secondary values are anywhere from like 125 to like 200. What I've seen kind of the national average is about 150 bucks. No, I wouldn't pay much more than about $120 for this personally. And MSRP in Washington is basically 100. So there's just like a tiny amount, like that extra 20 bucks I would probably be willing to do just to have one, because inherently I love having a Stagg. But beyond that, I don't think this is one of those batches that has that extra level of special to it that warrants shelling out the secondary level value on it. This to me, and a lot of modern Staggs starting to come like this, feels like if you don't find it at basically MSRP, it's kind of not worth it. That is it. That is your 2-Minute Tuesday on the Stagg 25C. I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Have you had 25C, A, B, any of this year's Staggs? What's been your favorite and why? If you're not subscribed, please, please, please consider subscribing. It's one of the best ways to help us small YouTubers. Liking, commenting, subscribing. That engagement tells the almighty YouTube algorithm, hey, I like what this person is doing, then someone else might too. And when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away an E.H. Taylor single barrel and an E.H. Taylor small batch, plus a few other things. So if you're not subscribed, do it now so you can qualify for that giveaway. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and stay awesome.